Hi, everybody. Welcome to AITA Pod. I'm Danny Vega, joined today by the wonderful Jake Davis and also Shannon.
Hello.
Oh my God. I like how you say joined today like it isn't a vast majority of the days where you are joined by us. I know there are exceptions to that, but...
Yeah, I mean, you know...
I know you're just used to saying
you're both disposable, and I want to create a culture where you live in fear and precariousness.
Oh, brother, I'm way ahead of you on that one. It's got nothing to do with this show, though. Just the times.
I think that is the kind of defining. I think a lot of things go back to that. I was actually ranting in my car about that. Anyway, normal things to say. Normal. Let's be normal.
That is pretty normal. That's like, you know.
It's because here's what it is that bothers me. There's like this, like, because like, you know, you can't be like work like a regular job now and like own a house and have prosperity. Like you can kind of, but not really. And I was thinking like there's this thing that I've noticed that people do, which is like crypto bros do it, but I like a lot of different groups do it, and it's puffery, but it's sort of like it's very tiring to me. Oh, fuck, I'm just gonna say it. Okay, I support these people. I like what they're doing. They're doing a great thing, and they do like sober events, like non-drinker events, and they're really cool. And I've gone to a couple of them, but instead of being like, we're starting a community for people who don't drink, they say like, we're founders of a startup. And I'm like, no, you're not. Like, it's not a startup. Like, it's a fucking community. Like, and there's like this obsession with like I'm waiting for them to write like, oh, we got venture capital and we're making an app. And I'm like, no, just have a fucking community. That's good. You don't need to turn it into money.
Yeah, are they making any money?
No, that's what they do. I'm like, there's no money coming into this. Like,
it's that ties it into of like, you can't even just have hobbies. You can't have things that you enjoy without people. Like I showed one painted minifigurine to somebody once. They're just like, you should monetize this. And it's just like, I don't want to. I want to just paint little guys in my free time.
Yeah.
And it's so exhausting and I get it. I think it's because everybody is in survival mode all the time. So they see somebody else present any skill, and it's just like, you have to use that. You have to use that like a spear to keep yourself alive in the encroaching darkness that we're all living in.
It's exhausting.
Yeah, that's what happened when I was doing the pottery too. Like everyone was like, oh my God, you need to sell these. And then I'm like, oh my God, I'm going to be like a little entrepreneur, but it just seems so exhausting.
That's what it is. It's what bothers me is that it's not, I want to buy those. Yeah. It's you need to sell them. That's what's so sick
in this
about
scenario,
it.
the people were saying they wanted to buy them.
Well, good for you. Okay. I will say,
shot down already.
You could, Shannon, start another podcast and call it pottery class, pottery class, like podcast, but with 2D. It's a bad idea. It's stupid.
Wait, what? Why didn't you just say podcast?
Well, you could do that,
or
but pottery class is
or class.
Or
I don't understand the joke you're making with pottery class.
Because it sounds like pottery, but it's pod. Two D's.
Pottery.
Pottery class,
okay.
Yeah. See, the
he
fact
clearly loved it.
Yeah, the fact that I had to explain it several times proves how good it was.
It's really
You know, my mom just texted me saying that she's like worried about this video I posted.
The cottage cheese one?
Yeah, the cottage cheese one.
I haven't even seen it.
It's I just say like
that you're single?
Yeah. And that it's just really annoying me right now.
What did she say?
She said like, be nice to yourself.
Aww.
And I'm like, it's a fucking joke, lady.
Yeah. Also, what was the fridge video you posted? Like, I don't like the way the fridge looks. Was that from something?
No, that was a real, well, it was from
like a real
let's bring
scenario.
people in. So I posted this video and I titled it AITA.
Yeah.
And I collaborated with AITA Pod. So I gave Shannon the option to post it if she wanted.
What?
You didn't see that? Okay, you didn't see that.
I don't even know how to do that.
I'm so happy that, because I was like, oh, she hated it. And so I titled it. Did you see this video, Jake? So I titled it AITA for making the fridge look bad. And this was a real, like pretty much verbatim interaction I had in a previous relationship.
Okay. I was wondering.
I saw this. Sorry, go ahead.
I ordered 4 dozen eggs and 2 pounds of asparagus. And she got really upset with how the fridge looked. And I was like, what are you talking about? Like, I've never heard, I didn't know this was a type of complaint.
Was the relationship already kind of wobbly?
No,
okay, that makes more sense.
Yeah. And anyway, so I framed it as an AITA.
Gotcha.
So we could post it to the account if you like it, you know, but.
Okay, I'll look it over again.
I don't like my odds, people. No, but it's interesting, I guess, just because we're on, like, you know, when you make a joke, I don't know, like you were making a dumb pun joke, so whatever. Yeah. But like, I guess there's something, I don't know, is there a point here to be made about when, like, here's what I hate. If I make a video, sometimes people will be like, are you okay? That makes me like, I don't like that
like
person.
I'm joking.
Yeah. Why is that so frustrating? I can't put my finger on it.
The only video you posted that I didn't ask you, I think
you did it.
No,
you
I
did
didn't.
not.
But the one of you in your kitchen was very vulnerable.
Oh my God, that was funny.
It was very messy. So it was, I understood why some people might. But I know your sense of humor.
The premise was that I had a very dirty kitchen, which was real. I did make it look dirtier. I sweetened it up a little.
I knew you had.
Because my goal was to make there no surface area without something on it. And then I put buying paraphernalia so my friends think I'm addicted to drugs because I don't want them to know that I'm sober and live like this.
Yes, I thought it was funny. And then on his TikTok, as I texted him, it was like, the people on your TikTok are like, they were like all strangers being like, it'll get better. Like, I wrote something that kind of like, I don't know who you are, but just know you have a friend.
Yeah, Jackie. Oh yeah, that was really funny. That was really funny.
Everyone with every single comment was like,
Jackie just forwarded it to me with several question marks underneath it. Like, should I be worried about this?
That's fair.
No, it's fine. It's a bit.
I can't unpack though why is that? What is so condescending and upsetting? Maybe it's that thing that we've been talking about, which is the rudeness of politeness or something like that is going on when it's like, are you okay? And it's like, I'm clearly making a fucking joke.
I was trying to be funny. I think it's because your joke's not landing, I guess. That's why it's frustrating. Like, I would feel that way too.
I think there's something else too. I wouldn't say that there's a lot of this in our circles. I don't think that this is really the wavelength that we operate on, but I do see it to an extent from some of my professional circles. There are some people who use social media like it is a 24/7 two-way mirror to every emotional state that they're in. And these are the people who are posting like really dramatic memes. Like, my least favorite are those, like, I don't know how to describe it. Those just like, you're getting weaker, I'm getting stronger. Those kind of just like, what message are you trying to send out to the world with this? Where it's like, this doesn't make you look like you're in control of anything. This makes it look like you're hanging on by a thread.
I love this read. So basically there is this politeness of rudeness, but there's also a projection that they think that social media is real and they don't realize that it's just art that I'm making to make people laugh. Right. Fucking kitchen.
Yeah.
Though it did work. I did clean the shit out of my kitchen as soon as I posted that. It really worked.
I knew that you were probably in the process of cleaning. And so, because when you're really cleaning and everything gets messier for a few hours because you're really getting in there. That's what I figured was going on. But in that context, it's very funny.
I'm happy we talked through that. Speaking of vulnerability, I don't think all three of us went through our kind of postmortems on the Phoenix and Tucson shows.
Yeah, we never talked about it.
Yeah, so you wanted to, go ahead, Shannon.
Well, I just had a funny little story from the Tucson show. So we had met these three sisters, Hunter, Riley, and Lauren, who we had posted this already. They had our group chat. Their group chat name as AITA Fan Club.
So funny. So cool.
But my very first interaction with them was I was coming out of the bathroom as they were going in. And so there was like a hallway out of the bathroom, and I came out and I walked by them in the hallway. And I specifically remember seeing them because I liked their outfits. But then it was so fast, but I saw that like maybe they recognized me a little bit and it didn't like register like, oh yeah, we have listeners that are coming that would probably know who I was. Until I like passed them. And as I had passed them, I picked my wedgie and like really intensely.
She's for the people.
Like, up my like thong practically. So I was like up my ass picking my wedgie. And then that's when it dawned on me like, oh, I think that they know me.
Yeah.
And so you know, I don't know if they saw it, but like I can imagine that they turned around and saw me like full on picking my wedgie.
Getting in there too.
Yeah, totally getting in there. I was like, oh my God, like I think those. And then I saw them in the front row. And that was when I was like the cricket thing. I was like, you guys, I saw you guys in the bathroom. Did you guys see the dead cricket?
I remember that.
I love the cricket.
But one thing like I always thought to myself, like if I ever became famous was like, oh my God, I'd really have to watch like how I like pick my wedgie a lot.
You do
or, like,
that
fix my
often.
Underwear or like pick my nose or something. No. And of course, the very first time in my whole life that I got recognized was I literally was picking my wedgie.
I think don't change a damn thing. Don't take the jersey out of the girl.
That's
you just keep doing you.
I mean, we all got to do it. It's uncomfortable.
Yeah, especially with a thong.
I've gotten real. Yeah, I mean, I'm a
with a thong, the worst.
I'm a boxer briefs guy, and I've mastered the large like sidestep shimmy to kind of.
Oh yes.
Yeah, I've gotten pretty good at that. Yeah,
I know women's underwear. Like they need to come up with something better. I feel like they have. I need to explore. You guys are so lucky that you like literally have shorts on basically.
I don't wear underwear. I don't believe in it.
You don't?
Especially when I go to the gym.
I was just going to say.
Commando. Okay. I knew commando denim.
No, I love boxers. No, you're right. We got a good
so
situation.
I don't like loose boxers are crap, especially in pants. I can't do those anymore. There needs the MeUndies boxer briefs.
They're the best.
Yeah, that's the tip of the top.
Our friend Ross used to work for them, and they are pretty comfy. I have ones too.
Sponsor us,
I'm
please.
actually really happy because I got these pants. I own these pants for years. I've been holding these pants.
Old jeans.
Right these pants are special. I thought I lost them. I was really mad at myself.
They're broken just right, huh?
Dude, no, they're broken, but they're also stretchy. I don't know what they're called, but they're like stretchy. And as you guys know, my muscles are growing with each passing day.
He's a growing boy.
I was gone a month, and he's huge.
And I found
like the Hulk ripping through your shirt.
It's actually less comfortable when you compliment me. But I found them in my closet, and I was really happy.
No, I get it with that. I have a pair of jeans. I just call them the autumn jeans because they're too dense to wear anytime it's hot. So as soon as autumn comes around and the temperature starts dropping, I'll start wearing them. Even if I'm like, I'll never wear denim around the house except for my autumn jeans. I'll wear those suckers all the live long day on a Sunday because they're so comfortable. But they're just dense enough that if it's anywhere close to 70 degrees, way too hot for them. So
how come they always go all the live long day? You ever hear them say that? What does that mean?
The live long.
What does that mean?
Well, it's from the railroad tune.
Oh, yeah.
No, but what does live long mean in that context?
The day's long and you're living through it.
Okay.
Let's see. It says long or seemingly long, especially in TSY. That's just the dictionary. We need to know where it came from, the origin.
We went to Phoenix. We met Melissa, dear listener, Justin Kaziski, longtime friend of the fam, longtime listener of the pod, sent me a wonderful letter I have on my bizarre fireplace mantle. Thank you, Justin. My parents went. My friend Troy went. Guys, actually,
God.
Yeah, wait, wasn't there a thing too where like I met someone that you knew, but they didn't say hi to you?
Oh, yeah. My mother's friend, because my parents used to live in Phoenix.
Yeah.
And I had her like reach out to all of her friends. And then one of her friends went, which was so sweet.
Yeah.
But then she never came up to me. And I didn't know that she was there.
You think maybe she saw that wedgie thing you pulled? She's like, ugh.
Well, that was in Tucson.
I don't know.
But my friend Danielle went. Shout out. She's an avid listener of the pod.
Oh my God. Thank you, Danielle.
Yeah. She loves it. And then we also met Emily down in Tucson.
Yes, Emily, absolute
took
gem.
To the Crystal Show.
Gem who deals gems. We love to see that.
Juicy Toosey.
And then there was someone else at the Tucson
my friend Lauren. Thank you so much. Who helped me produce the show along with Dan. So it was great.
Listener too. Shoot.
We love you all, guys.
Chris and Michaela in Phoenix.
There we go.
Give a shout out to them. That was a wonderful surprise.
Us.
Vapor Days veterans.
So we do have an update. The Poop Hider also spoke. He claimed to be reformed. And now I might be blowing up his spot a little bit here, but he texted me this and I got to be real. He writes, after appearing as a guest on your podcast and having been provided with a lot of support for his environmentally friendly poop disposal method, quote, I have decided to go back to poop hiding. And when I am by myself with the dog and there's no one else around, Obviously, mom has not been told because she would probably find me.
Oh.
He's still poop hiding. He can't stop.
I mean, you know how I feel about it. I'm fine with it.
I mean, I was at Griffith, you know, and these horses take pounds
Massive
of shit.
dumps.
Nobody cleans it. Like,
No.
I think I hate to admit it, but
he digs a hole off to the side, right? Is that what it is?
Well, sometimes it's in people's front lawns. That's where the controversy rises. But
oh wait, he's not ripping up grass?
No, not grass.
Okay.
No, there's no grass in his neighborhood.
But he's burying it, isn't he?
He buries it. That's
better than what I did with the one time with the leaf.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
that was a trap. That was a trap.
You just created a landmine.
I know. It's like
against the Geneva Convention.
Like, that was not the right thing to do.
It really wasn't. Guys, thank you so much for listening. We really appreciate it. And we're going to do a couple little sub minis here. And then we'll get into this thing. Please rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. We recently had 450 patrons. Why don't you get us to 500?
Oh my God.
Be exciting.
We were just
Danny will give you his car if you're the 500th one.
Oh, that Toyota Camry Prius
give
hybrid.
You a ride
21.
in the car. I don't know. I need that. I need my girl. So here's a little sub mini for you guys. AITA for making my friend pay the $600 cleaning fee. So OP is a 28F travel nurse along with a 31M travel nurse who has a dog. He never cleans a dog's mess. And he says before he moves out, he's going to get a cleaner. He moves out without doing so. She finds the cheapest cleaner possible and then invoices him, AITA.
Well, and she invoiced him and then he got livid about it.
He got really mad. Yeah. Sorry.
And it was like $600 cleaning fee, which was the cheapest she could find. And it's like, don't get a job if you cannot financially support them.
Yeah, I feel like this is honestly like she did him a huge favor.
Super diplomatic solution.
I know we've talked a lot about charging your friends, but I'm kind of like, dog, you left. I had to coordinate this. I feel like I'm taking a little bit off the top. That'll be $660, 10% fee.
I know. I would do 10%.
No.
Why? I got to do your secretary work for you? Fuck you, bro.
You were so cordial about this. Did absolutely nothing wrong. He should be ashamed of himself, honestly, for putting it off that long. Clearly not a good pet owner either if he's just not tending to the dog mess.
Exactly. I think people a lot of times just take on pets because they're like, I just love the companionship, all that. It comes with so much work and so much of a financial burden too. Like those vet visits, I'm sure are nothing to sneeze at. And you have to be able to clean up their messes and to put it on your roommate that's messed up. And the other thing that we left out about it was that their security deposit was $2,000.
Which they would have lost.
So they would have lost that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
She could just take that out if she or whatever. But anyway, we agree. AITA for making my friend pay the $600 cleaning fee. No brainer. NTA, he is.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, guys, it's me, Shannon D. I just wanted to pop on here and let you all know about an event coming up that is very near and dear to my heart, the ABBA Festival. It's happening this Sunday, September 24th from 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. in Venice Beach, California. It's a really fun, family-friendly festival filled with live music, beer gardens, shopping, food trucks, and more. And my cute boyfriend just happens to be the chairman of the nonprofit that puts it on. You can purchase tickets in advance to the beer gardens. The best deal is the Fast Pass that gets you into every beer garden. You get a free beer and $25 credit to Postmates, even if you already have an account. So it basically pays for itself. The prices go up if you get them on the day of the event, so get them now. The ABBA Fest is a grant-making nonprofit, so your money will be going back into the community. I'll be there volunteering at the Kids Squad, so please come by and say hi. I'll put the website for all the information and tickets to the beer gardens in the show notes. Hope to see you there.
Another little sub mini. This one is kind of juicy, but we just wanted to condense it here. Would I be the asshole if I reported my cousin to CPS? My cousin's kids are homeschooled, lack any real education. They're all homeschooled and are underdeveloped cognitively. Despite approaching puberty, all three children share a bedroom. They can't count, can barely read, and have an odd cadence when speaking. Mother sees nothing wrong with the upbringing. It's not my place, and I realize CPS won't take them away since they have food, water, and shelter, but AITA.
Oh, that's horrifying.
Sounds very interesting. I think that one of the other aspects to this too was that they were like traveling, and the
parents wanted to travel.
Yeah, maybe they have like an RV or something. Because one of my friends is doing that right now. Her husband is homeschooling the kids while she works remotely, and they got an RV a couple of years ago at this point.
Yeah,
and But I think they're doing a really great job with the education. But they have been traveling all around the U.S. and I think that there really is a great, learning experience by getting to see other cultures. As long as I think you're taking them some historical places. Like my parents used to take us on a lot of road trips, and we would stop at different national parks and stuff like that. And it was a really great experience for us to just get out of a small little town in South Jersey. But it sounds like they're not really doing a good job.
I think, there's kind of this to me is uneducated people not valuing education. And look, I consider myself a pretty smart person. I mean, I think all three of us are very smart. I think that would necessarily translate to being effective homeschoolers. No. Probably not. And it's not necessarily because we couldn't teach the teaching part. I just think there's a tremendous value in being surrounded by your peers and a lot of different teachers who have different specialties and are being paid to be there and give some of their knowledge to you.
And how are you ever going to learn how to manage your rage and patience simultaneously if you're not doing group projects with other people that you can't trust? That's a key part of learning how working in an office is going to feel.
I think it's huge. I don't know. I'm kind of I think homeschooling is really very egotistical and
I got it.
I can handle that.
All that algebra, English, the other stuff, done.
I was homeschooled one year.
No one's surprised.
In fourth grade, because my mom was a teacher, and the two options for the teachers were nightmare teachers. They were awful. So my friend Andrew and my mom homeschooled us that year.
I got the nightmare teacher one year.
You did?
Yeah, Ms. Won't say the name. It happened the year after I got past that grade. There was a girl in class who was so terrified to ask to go to the bathroom. She just went to the bathroom on herself. And that's what finally did it. That's what finally got everybody she has to go now.
Yeah.
But it was that bad. And there's tons of examples of stuff, not quite that egregious, but that much anxiety from children about having to interact with this woman at all.
Yeah.
So it's I can understand that for sure. If you're avoiding an environment like that, that's a solid move on your mom's part.
Yeah, I guess I thought one reason that I could cover this is because I'm kind of dealing with the inverse of the situation. You guys know about my neighbor Dora, and they just overheard me making a call to social services, and I've been talking to my dad.
Oh, you made the call?
Yeah.
Oh, and she was getting back to you?
Yeah. Yeah,
that makes more sense.
Basically,
I thought you just got roped into it.
No, I'm trying to rope the state's apparatus, but it's much harder with an adult because they have they can say fuck off. Children they can't. I don't necessarily think roping in CPS. Look, I think it's a complicated thing. I think creating a paper trail can always be a good idea, and it is true. It's not like CPS is a bunch of monsters. They're not going to probably take the kids unless there's severe issues.
I think that this could be a where there's smoke, there's fire thing, and it doesn't hurt to have somebody from an organized part of the state whose job is the welfare of children to come in and just hey, your kids don't know how to count and they're almost 13. Let's have a conversation.
I don't think there's anything wrong with it. I think a lot of people have heard horror stories about these social services, and I gotta say, I'm sure they've committed sins. I'm sure there's bad caseworkers out there, but there's probably more parents who threw a fucking fit because they had their kids taken, and guess what? They probably deserve to have their kids
taken. And we talk about this all the time. Criticism inspires defensiveness, and children are a really hot button issue for parents, obviously.
Yeah.
So when you have a state organization coming in and examining your worth as a parent, you're going to get hot. And and I'm not saying that's okay, but it's just I would stay as neutral as I could in judging either side of any case there. Cause again, nobody here has kids. It's a hard thing to judge.
I think maybe depending on how close you are with your cousin, you could talk to them, kind of pull them aside and not maybe even not, act holier than thou in any way, but just be how's the homeschool going? Cause I kind of noticed a couple things.
Yeah.
And, I'm just curious. Just depends on how close you are. It might be,
I think Jake is right that they would probably flare out to that. I mean, I think you got to try. I think it's better to try.
I think it's better to do that than just go to CPS.
Absolutely.
Right?
You got to try. You've got to try to keep it, try to keep it within the fam and try to see if there's going to be progress. But
if there's somebody else that's like maybe their parents, like your aunt and uncle, like you could like run it by them, be like, what should we do?
It's pretty far gone though. The more I like, and I cut this down a lot, but like we're talking about a 13-year-old who could barely read. Like that's like developmentally like really bad.
Then that is serious neglect. And that's where my concern is if they as the parent are seeing that and they're saying, that's fine. I don't know what kind of intervention from their support circles is gonna wake them up.
There's
to that.
Certain things where you're like, I shouldn't have to explain.
It's an environment that they created. It's like if you go to an abusive if your friend's running an abusive circus and you're just like, hey, that lion's malnourished, and they're like, yeah, I'm the ringmaster. I know the lion's malnourished. He's fine.
I guess what I wanted to say too, though, that I think it's a tough thing and you got to just try your best because the CPS might not necessarily be able to do anything. And that's kind of the situation I'm in. And I'm like, where does this go? You know what I mean? Where does this fucking go? But if, this is being a hero. I honestly think it is. Like when you go out of your way to help people, like that's what it is. And nobody wants to do it. And that's why these people end up in shitty positions because they have shitty parents or whatever. They didn't take care of themselves in the case of my neighbor. And it's like,
I know. I wonder if there is some kind of section of CPS like that monitors like how
the vibe check brigade
monitors like how they're educating their kids. Cause like anyone can say they're homeschooling, but it's like you are supposedly mandated, I think, to have your kids in school. So how can they, mandate?
I'm sure they have to fill out something to be able to homeschool, but it's huge. I think there's a level of hubris there. I mean, I think, look, doing it for a year, or even a couple years, I'm like, okay, that's because like you said, that's a novel experience, but I do think there's a fundamental socialization aspect that's like pretty key there. Anyway, would I be the ass if I reported my cousin to CPS? I think, I mean, I don't even, honestly, I kind of don't even want to give it a verdict. I would say like no assholes here. Cause like raising your kids this way is like pure devil territory. It's so selfish and egotistical. It's like, I guess it is NTA and they are, but it's like that's trivializing.
We don't, this isn't an official verdict, but like I'm staying out of this one. Hands up on that one.
All right, guys, please rate, review, and subscribe. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. But first, folks, AITA for not wanting my BF to buy a Nicki Minaj in-game skin. I-25F and my BF 21M had a small argument, but it's still picking at me. Him and I are both avid gamers. Both have been most of our adolescent and adult lives. We both have our own PC setups in different rooms. We play together and with other people every night, nearly. We play every popular FPS game with each other, you name it. On Call of Duty, the one and only Nicki Minaj is being added to the game as a purchasable and playable character. With her own visuals, voice lines, etc. Her outfit is suggestive, large breasts, and a pretty significant booty as well. That would be interesting. Hey, yeah, you got a great ass. And by that, I mean, it's a pretty significant
jumper.
I have been a fan of her since middle school. I love all her music, concerts, etc. I told him I wasn't comfortable with him as my boyfriend buying the skin on his own account, mostly due to him being currently unemployed with no income, as well as him only wanting it for her looks. He isn't a fan of her music. In his own words, I just want it because it's Nicki Minaj. Once I voiced that, he got upset with me because I called him out, and he still pressed on saying, quote, it's my money, I can buy it if I want to. I then voiced that it makes me uncomfortable, but I can't control what he does or spends his money on. Like I mentioned prior, he has no current income, only savings. He then said he didn't want to make me uncomfortable and dropped it. Then a few hours later, asked if he could get the skin, and I didn't want to have another disagreement and said we could talk later. I don't give him a hard time about Fortnite girls, skins, or other games as they're very cartoony, but COD, Call of Duty, does resemble a real person. Okay. I'm a female and a fan of Nicki, and I want to purchase the skin on my own because it's incredibly empowering to have strong female roles in video games. It makes me as a woman proud to see it. Mm-hmm. I'm aware this is a niche issue, and I know how it might seem small, but it's something I would interact with virtually every day. So it would bother me every time I saw it, AITA.
I don't like Call of Duty. I think it's a predatory practice. You release the same game every single year with almost no changes to it, sometimes for the worse. Cosmetic skins that cost money, They are exclusively there to get 12-year-olds to use their parents' credit cards. I think it's the dumbest thing. I think it's bad for the industry. I think it's bad for the art form. So for all those reasons, yeah, your boyfriend doesn't have a job. I'd be uncomfortable with that too if my partner's spending money on stupid cosmetics in a game that adds absolutely nothing to the experience of playing it.
Right. It's just to like look at her ass.
But so that's the thing. I think that this might not be as sexually driven for him as she's making it out to be. This could be, quote, for the lulz. He might just think it's funny playing Call of Duty as Nicki Minaj because objectively that is kind of funny. And the thing that's bolstering that for me is Call of Duty is a first person perspective game.
Right. You're being Nicki.
Right. You're not looking at her while you're playing. You'd only see her on like the home screen when you're in between matches and stuff.
Okay.
So it would be very strange to me if this was sexually driven for him because he's looking at her. And
I think it's obviously not sexually.
Yeah.
The president.
Because her voice is probably like, saying kind of funny things in her own voice.
Gotcha.
Right?
He's not getting.
Haha, it's me, Nicki. I'm in war now.
That's absurd.
That seems like a stretch, but I'm with OP.
I'm not,
because I'm with OP for don't spend money on fucking cosmetics when you don't have a job.
I think that's ridiculous. I think, look, this is probably how much does this cost, Jake? $5 or something like that?
For cosmetics, they'll usually be in that range. I would need, you know what though? Call of Duty's really fucking wild. It might be more than $5, but that's usually around a cosmetic.
Either partner you're in a situation where your partner is unemployed. Do not be micromanaging. That's what you're doing. You're micromanaging a microtransaction. That to me is you're setting yourself up for a lot of disappointment. It's still his money. By the way, OP seems to object. And by the way, thanks for submitting, OP. I'm not trying to go too hard on you. But OP says he's unemployed. That's it. Doesn't say he's spending her money.
Yeah.
Doesn't say that he's not contributing to the rent. Doesn't say nothing. Just that he's unemployed. Well, guess what? He's allowed to be unemployed.
I think that her main issue, it seems to me, is about that she's uncomfortable with him, sexualizing Nicki Minaj, I guess. Even though you're right, like he could just do that by going online
or listening to Nicki Minaj's music. I mean, I believe the song Anaconda.
Oh, yeah.
Is that, I don't know her oeuvre, but Anaconda is a rather sexual song. I
think there is also a level of hypocrisy of saying how much you enjoy this being in this happening, that she's available to play as in the game, yet you don't want men playing as her. That seems hypocritical to me and a bit of a write-off to, it is perfectly possible that a man might just be a fan of Nicki Minaj and think it's I do think it's objectively funny to play in a game simulating war as Nicki Minaj
as
out of
Harajuku Barbie.
Yeah. There's so many different characters that it could have been. I think there's something objectively funny about it.
And she probably has some kind of cut in the game with that.
Yeah, she's making money off that.
So then if it's like you want to purchase it because it's empowering to have a strong female role, then why are you like not letting someone else also contribute to that too,
Isn't it also kind of like there's nothing depowering to a woman or anybody being sexually attractive and having confidence in that? That's part of what made Nicki Minaj so popular. She understands she's sexually attractive. She owns it. She embraces it. It's not devaluing to her to recognize that is an aspect of who she is.
I think sexuality is part of her brand. I think that's a fair characterization.
Yeah, most female rappers that's kind of their thing.
I'm not going to go that hard. AITA for not wanting my BF to buy a Nicki Minaj in-game skin. I'm sorry, OP. I think you're policing. I think you're micromanaging microtransactions. You yourself want to buy the skin. I mean,
I can see if it was like this was OnlyFans, for example, like if he was
totally different thing.
That is different because you can have direct contact with them, but in no way. I mean, this is literally a cartoon. I know that it looks more realistic. But
okay, wait, there is a small detail we might have missed. She says it's something I would interact with virtually every day. In other words, that she is playing Call of Duty with him, right? Because she wants to get it as well. So she's a Call of Duty player.
So she would be seeing Nicki.
She's seeing him playing Nicki Minaj.
Huh. That is interesting, isn't it?
That kind of gives her a little bit more ammo.
Well, does it?
Well, she is looking at it.
I think that's just more her problem. Like, why she's so down for this, but she doesn't want to look at Nicki Minaj.
And also, it would be her partner dressed as Nicki Minaj, not her partner like fucking Nicki Minaj on camera.
AITA for not wanting my BF to buy Nicki Minaj in game skin. I think it's a soft NTA or soft YTA.
And thank you for writing in.
Yeah, thanks for writing in, listener. Much love for you. Guys, please rate, review, subscribe. Join us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. AITA for telling my brother it's pathetic that he can't do the basics of what his wife did. I love my sister-in-law and brother. They have 2 kids, and my sister-in-law, Rachel, was kind of a stay-at-home mom. She worked from home part-time, but also took care of the kids and all the chores. I was over multiple times, and the house was spotless. Really, I thought she was just extra cleaning when she had guests, but no. When I had my kids, she showed me her schedule. She would be up at 5 for meal prepping for the whole day. Like, she never stopped, and a lot of her tips helped me with my own home. Now, my brother lost his job, and it was decided that Rachel would go back to work full time, and he would stay at home. The kids are in kindergarten and 1st grade. He has this on easy mode. I've been over to help sometimes since he just sucks at it. The house is always a mess. The kids are usually late to school. He asked me to drive them after the school talk to him. He doesn't cook. It's just sad. He got in a huge argument with his wife since dinner wasn't done and she had to make it. He was ranting about how unfair it is and that he is trying. I told him it's pathetic that he can't do the basics of what his wife did. He has 8 hours free and he can't keep the house clean. I told him she will divorce him if he doesn't stop being lazy and figure it out. He left after calling me a jerk, and my mom is now on me for what I said. AITA. Ruh-oh.
Yeah, I mean, just pro tip. I find my experience, never get mad at anybody for not making a dinner, because you can just make dinner.
Yeah.
Oh,
didn't he blow up at her for not making dinner and the house is a mess?
He got in a huge argument with his wife since dinner wasn't done and she had to make it. Yeah, okay, my bad, because I thought this was about him not doing chores. Yeah, but
he's also not doing the chores, and he's mad at her for not making dinner.
I mean, I'm pretty sure this is the number one reason behind divorces.
This is the number one reason for murder, too. This is leading cause, as a matter of fact.
That would be true if women killed men, but they pretty much never do. But, you know, Shannon's going to change that with me. So
true.
I think I'm trying to do anything I can for this guy, but like he's really going fucking far with yelling at her when he's clearly not doing his shit.
Yeah.
Like, bro,
it's such a turnoff. It's such an immediate mood killer to see your partner not contributing to the household, the well-being of the home. It is so key. I think that it's just such an easy duh on this one of like, yeah, man, you should be contributing to the house. And I understand the frustration of anybody seeing that. It's like watching somebody try to fit a round peg into a square hole. It's just like, you dummy, stop doing that.
Yeah. So what did I'm sorry, did he become a stay-at-home dad all of a sudden?
Yeah, because he lost his job. She worked from home part-time, but took care of the kids and the chores. But what happened was he lost his job, and then Rachel had to go back to work full-time, and he would stay at home.
Okay, gotcha.
So and
OP is who to this couple?
Sister. He says, I love my sister-in-law and brother, so I'm assuming it's a sister, but it could be a brother. But.
Okay, I mean, I can't ding her. Like, you can like wake up your sibling and tell him what's going on.
So she said, what did she say exactly?
I don't know.
I told him it's pathetic.
Person. I need to see the article.
I told him it's pathetic. He can't do the basics of what his wife used to do.
I think so. Good for you.
Yeah, the only issue I have with this is anytime I think people like to gatekeep with you have it on easy mode or whatever. And I'm trying to, just keep this as broad as possible. I think just in general, never shit on anybody's situation as easy or easier. Like, just recognize everybody's struggling. Everybody's going through a lot. But ultimately, to me, the villain of this story is the dude who's letting the house fall to shambles. It would be good for him in this situation to give himself something to work on. Losing your job fucking sucks. sucks. It's a terrifying reality so many people are dealing with right now, but you have to keep your mind. It's happened to me. You have to keep your mind busy. You have to find really productive, practical things, because it takes a while to get the wheels turning, to get the interviews coming in. And the best thing you can do for yourself is find work in your day-to-day life that keeps you preoccupied and productive.
I think I can ding though. Like, it is pretty mean, and look, it's at very least pretty unhelpful to sling a pathetic. And
yeah, no, that word doesn't help at all.
She also like kind of slung pathetic at the wrong thing. I kind of would have been like, hey, the way you're treating your wife is really messed up.
Shitty.
Which, yeah, and that I would understand. But I'm like, God, you know, you didn't really need to take this pathetic shot. That's a little bit like, you know, you didn't.
It's exacerbating.
It's exacerbating the problem. I told him she will divorce him if he doesn't stop being lazy. Again, I think like you're kind of saying all the worst things, like don't go for blood here. Like,
yeah, you're kind of you're going a little too far. Like, she'll divorce you. Like, you don't know what she's gonna do.
Yeah, and I just in general, siblings I think have more right to this than anybody else in a family. But just I think it's good to sort of stay out of a lot of conflict like this, and what I'm saying is inserting yourself to the point of saying she's going to divorce you. That's way too close.
The D word is an ugly word.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody should be slinging that thing out. I just think like and I understand siblings have a level of comfort, but like, she really could have approached this with a bit more humanity. Like, hey, bro, I'm just a little bit concerned about your households.
Communication.
This is what I'm learning. And I read this in a book recently, and it's like, people want to talk. They want to, we all want to talk. We want to give advice. We want people to know how important we are and what we did and all these things. But the secret to connecting with people is not talking. It's listening. And nobody wants to fucking do it.
No.
Because, have you heard my story about Dora? You know, like there's always something that we want to say. But like, I actually think if you want to solve problems, you got to listen.
Yeah. No, and it's so often with a lot of these, it's communication, and this was just bad communication.
Yeah.
I do think that there's probably some underlying stuff between the siblings here where it sounds like this was like a festering issue where I'm sure that, you know, the sibling has seen examples of this through their life at other times. For them to be this peaked on it already, I don't think you get to that fiery 10 out of the cannon of just seeing it for the first time.
Well, I'm a little... Go ahead.
Well, I'm also just wondering because it says that he got in an argument with his wife, etc. And I told him it's pathetic. Like, I wonder if the sister was there for this.
That's what I'm confused about is what, like, was she visiting one night and saw this go down? Like,
because if I were, like, I could see if I witnessed that. Like, I can see being more like, dude, you're being pathetic right now. It's embarrassing.
Yeah, that's a good spin. I like that.
And being on her side.
Yeah, that
you're seeing like
the way she says it does make me think she was there, which I'll give her a pass.
Seems like that
because it's almost like you saw him be really shitty and aggressive.
Right,
so you're kind of returning.
Unfair. I'm trying, but then you didn't even make an effort to make dinner or order in. Like, dude, order in.
And that's where the dude loses me, is flipping out because dinner wasn't made. It's just like you had all the power in the world to right that wrong, my friend.
Well, I think actually it says he got in an argument with his wife since dinner wasn't done and she had to make it. I feel like she just was upset with him that dinner's not done.
Well, that makes a lot more sense than him being upset with her for not making dinner. Yeah. Okay, I had that mixed up. That's where I was coming from with him, but it's still like I completely understand her being upset of like, you were the one who had the ability to make dinner in this situation. I had some wires crossed.
And circling back into what we've been saying, you know, this is true about men and women, I think, too, where we've gotten in this mindset where, like, you know, if it ain't making money, it ain't real and it don't matter. And it's like, I think this guy is struggling and, you know, I'm not really defending him, but it is a systematic broad thing where it's like, dude, like, you do have a job cleaning a house up and keeping it in order and keeping the kids on time in school. Like, it's a fucking hard job. Like, and if you do it, like, you should be respected just the same as anybody working a fucking day job, which is honestly way easier.
Yeah, it's
most. I'm willing to say most.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. After because when I was in New Jersey, I just got back. Almost everyone I saw has kids, so I spent a lot of time with kids. And oh my God, so difficult. I was literally like, I don't know that I want this anymore. Like it was scary.
Welcome to the club. This guy right here.
I know. And this is also like after I froze my eggs and everything. And I was just like I felt like I was having like an existential crisis or something. Like, oh my God, I'm scared.
I was hanging out with my family this last week and like, having little ones around. There was definitely like, because, my family knows where I'm at with that whole thing. And there was definitely some comments of just like, it's fun, isn't it? Makes you maybe rethink it. And just every time it's like, nope, thought about it. I'm good. Thank you. Love being in the position I'm in right here.
I know. I said to my friends at one point, I'm like, well, can you tell me something good about it? Like, is it worth it? And they were like, no. Like, we love it more than anything. And I'm like, okay. Scary.
Yeah.
It was terrifying, honestly.
I'll say I've been around a lot of parents where I totally see the appeal. I get it. But then just like it's being on 24/7 and just like being like, we were at the beach and I just had that thought while I'm lounging in the chair, day drinking and just like seeing the kids run around of like, oh yeah, the ocean is dangerous. We have to be aware of that at all times while we're out here. And it's such an obvious thing, but it's the first time where I'm like keeping an eye. We're all kind of keeping a corner of the eye on where the kids are at any given time. And even when like the little one would get away in the house somewhere, I'd just be like, where'd he go? Because everything can be dangerous.
Yes. I'm ready to start like a hypoallergenic dog. That's my start if I start my family. Yeah.
I hope Danny gets a hypoallergenic dog that's just as like not, what's the word I'm looking for, critically thinking as you are. So you're going to have to work through like you're trying to teach your dog how to sit and it's like a Danny dog. So it's like, why? What is the gain of me sitting?
Yeah. God damn it, dog, sit. All right, I think we agree on this one. AITA for telling my brother it's pathetic that he can't do the basics of what his wife did. I think we're leaving it to a in the moment lashing, and it sounds like this guy is really a mess. So
yeah, he's got to get it together a little bit here.
I think we're going not the asshole, and he is.
Yeah.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap things up. Please rate, review, subscribe to us on Patreon, patreon.com/AITA pod. Here's Shannon.
AITA for firing my brother after he proposed at my wedding. So a bit of background. I own a plumbing company and hired my brother 3 years ago. He was jobless after the pandemic, and I offered for him to come work for me. He was 22 at the time and is now looking to become a master plumber and start his own business. At my wedding, in which he was the best man, he decided that during his speech, he would give us all a big surprise and decided to propose to his longtime girlfriend. Me and my wife were appalled. We both feel like he stole the shine from our day. Everyone else in our families were so excited and kept taking pictures with her, looking at the ring, etc. I decided to fire him the very next day. He still doesn't understand why. He claims I'm being selfish and irrational, and our parents agree. They're saying that business should be separate from our personal lives, but I just can't overlook what he did and how he ruined our day. Am I overthinking this?
I've got an underdog villain in this story. Everybody in the families who didn't react to this in the moment, like, you really shouldn't have fucking done that, man. That's number one faux pas at a wedding. You can't do that. And instead enabling that behavior by just like, oh, yeah, you're engaged. Like, you have to reality check somebody if they do the proposal at a wedding of like, you're not supposed to do that, right? Congratulations. But that was a really thoughtless thing that you did. Right. I think that that's a really bad move from the families to enable it like that. And
I will take the pro worker stance. I mean, I think there's something just very plainly vengeful and hasty about the firing the next day. I think I could deal with the firing, but the next day it's like, dog, let the dust settle a little bit. And I also feel like if there was any litigation or anything like that, you're going to get rocked. Like, you fired him basically on a day off, and it was right after this event that could not be tied to his employment.
For revenge!
Like, you're fucked.
There's nothing professional about this. This is why you do not get into business with family. This is one of the explicit reasons why.
Oh, I missed that. It's the brother.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What did you think?
I thought it was just a friend. I didn't clock
it's his brother.
Yeah.
You don't hire family for reasons like this.
No, I don't know.
I kind of feel like if you're going to ask your girlfriend to marry you at a friend's wedding, but at your brother's wedding.
You better not be your boss.
You can't fire somebody for stuff like this. That's just not how it's. You made this choice. You made your choice to bring your blood into what you built. And when they did a stupid brother thing, like propose at a wedding, which is so stupid, he's an asshole for doing it. But you cannot fire somebody for doing something that had absolutely nothing to do with their job performance.
Yeah, I mean, I don't agree with your take on that you shouldn't work with family.
I mean, you can, but you're taking on massive
How would
risk.
Shannon have accrued all her wealth without that parking lot job?
I'm not saying
That's
it's wrong.
true.
I'm not
still
saying
saving
it's,
in my piggy bank.
I'm not saying it's wrong to have a family business. I'm just saying you take on certain risks bringing family into that business. One of them being you, Danny, you nailed it. This dude is fucked if his brother has half a mind of like, yeah, I got fired because of the way I proposed. That's not a real reason to fire somebody.
I think it wouldn't work.
Yeah, you're right. It is definitely because you have a new dynamic. Like he's your boss now. So like I'm not sure if OP is a woman or a man, but either way, they're siblings.
Well, he was his best. He was the best man. So I don't know if he was my best man.
Oh yeah, maybe it's
anyway.
Then. So yeah, I think it does add kind of an odd dynamic. Like my boyfriend's, he worked at his dad's company. He wasn't his direct boss, but he was the owner of the company, CEO, etc. And I was always thinking to myself, like, it must just be so weird that your parent is your boss.
No, it ain't weird. It's great. They love you.
I have a very opposite take of that.
Yeah.
I mean, look, let's stick to the situation here. I do think here's my read. I think I'm going to be able to open up some room for the brother. I think this family is a little bit too close.
I agree with that.
Right? Like, and we're going to sit here and be like, this brother has no sense of boundaries. I don't think there's a lot of boundaries going around in this family. And yeah, we all agree that it's wrong.
Where do you get that from? Just that he gave him a job because he was struggling?
Gave him a job. He's the best man at the wedding. I mean, do they ever go a date?
No, it's not.
No, it's not that it's that crazy,
it's
Shannon.
not.
It's not that crazy, but I'm like, is it so surprising then that he would think it was okay to propose at your wedding? I'm like,
because
they do
your brother
everything
was your
together.
best man and you gave him a job when he was out.
And you see him every single day and you've been brothers for your whole life.
You have no separation.
You
have no separation.
Work.
What's that?
He sees him every day because of work.
Yeah.
And he's working directly under him.
It's very tight. I mean, you're going to deny
it's
that?
messy. This is a very tangled up ball of Christmas lights.
Tangled.
I don't think so.
I just think that, like, I don't think there's anything, like I said, there's nothing wrong with family businesses. There's nothing wrong with working with your family, but there is something deeply fucking wrong with firing an employee. You have to, this is where I'm saying there's no boundaries. You're not separating him as your brother and your employee. Those are two different elements of who he is.
Yeah, well, that's fucked up.
You're treating him as your employee brother, and you're just like, you behaved wrong at my special day. Guess who doesn't have a job anymore? Ha ha!
It's ridiculous.
OP defends it, says he will be getting severance. He's still my brother, and I wouldn't let him lose his home over this. But as a small business, I can't imagine seeing him every day at work.
Then you shouldn't have hired him. This was fucked up from tip to tail.
I honestly kind of feel like this is a breaking point. And I'm not here to judge. I know some families are very close, and that's fine. That's fine. But I honestly think like this lack of separation, I like that way of putting it, Jake, has led the brother to, think about what he did. He literally proposed at your wedding. It's like, and you guys are the same to him. You're like Mario and fucking Luigi. So,
and they're plumbers.
The Mario brothers.
Like, I just kind of feel like this, of all the people to propose at a wedding, I'm like, this doesn't make no sense to me. This kind of clicks, and like, yeah, it's wrong, and it ultimately does fall on the brother who did it. But I'm like, I honestly kind of am ready to go. I'm ready to throw this out. This might be crazy.
Uh-oh, here we go.
I might be willing to just call it a no assholes here. I feel like this is a big old nasty mess.
I kind of get where you're coming from on that.
Or ESH.
I think it's a paradox because I was leaning ESH, but now that we're talking about it, this is so crazy. This is so insane, and you all put yourselves in this mess. And it kind of, I talked about it right at the top, the way the family responded to this.
Yeah.
This is just a giant puddle of everybody kind of being the same person.
Yes.
It's weird.
And he's swimming in it. He doesn't even know he's doing it. I mean, I do think it's fair to say, if we were to ask the brother, is your brother going to receive this poorly? I think he'd be like, of course not. He's my bro. We do everything together.
He is going to love this. Mario loves it when I do his things.
There's another little edit here. It says, I love how all of the people who say you've been looking for a reason to fire him or you're just jealous. He was my best man. I never felt upset about him opening his own business. So it turns out he was opening his own plumbing business. In fact, he has my complete blessing. This job was only supposed to help him get on his feet again. I'm so happy he liked the field and wants to go further in it. There was no malice before this incident.
That helps that he was like, he wasn't putting all his eggs in this basket and he was planning on going out on his own. So that kind of helps. I'm backing off on my pro worker take a little bit there, but I still think it's just like, play stupid games, win stupid prizes. And you can't, as an employer, you can't fire somebody for something he didn't break the law. And he didn't do anything distasteful past offending you.
Yeah. And you're holding the job over his head like, oh, well, if you ever insult me or do anything wrong, like, I can take away your job.
Yeah.
It's very right to
like
work
that
state.
gift giving with the $7,000 wedding dress, and the sister made a really mean joke.
Yeah.
And then she's like, I'm not paying for your dress anime.
Yeah.
It's like a gift in a way, and you're holding that over them. And it's like, well, you better behave.
Giving jobs as gifts, I think we all agree, is dicey. If
Yeah.
we've learned one thing.
Yeah, and it's kind of what this was. It was.
Yeah,
he was helping him out.
I think I think he developed him as a plumber. I also let me say this. I think a lot of people don't want to do this, and this is why a lot of people don't like me, and that's fair. But you know what? I keeps it real, and I think that some people want to say things like, "What did he say?" There was no malice before this incident. I'm so happy he liked the field and wants to go further in it. Okay, that's fair. You can also at the same time admit that, and it's perfectly normal that, in fact, I would argue that it kind of is natural that you are going to feel a little bit of malice and jealousy and a slight sense of betrayal. That's normal. Okay. If, for instance, Jake says, hey, dude, it's been great. I'm going to go start my own podcast. Would I support it? Of course I would. Of course. But I'm not going to sit here and say that 0% of me wouldn't be a little bit huffy and puffy and, wish for you to die in a fiery accident. Would I cut the brakes on your car? I cut half of them. Let's see. Let's let God determine.
Oh God! Don't start your own podcast, Jay.
No, I'm kidding. But
I would never.
Whenever people
look at all this stuff, I don't want this.
People go, people go to this like so far extent where it's like they can't. But it's you're going to if you care about what you do, you're going to care at least a little bit. And I get a little bit annoyed when people present themselves this way.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of. I think he's doing a lot of work to present himself as above the emotions of this situation.
Yes.
And it's like, no, you got really fucking pissed off, which is understandable. And you took it out on him in a really vindictive, unrelated way.
And also enjoy your wedding bliss. Like, why are you firing people a day after your wedding? Relax.
Do what any normal American family would do. Rip off your jacket in a huff, roll up your sleeves and say, parking lot right now.
Yeah. AITA For fired my brother after he proposed at my wedding. I actually feel like we've danced around a lot here, but I am ready to say ESH. I think that makes the most sense.
I do like the no assholes here take because it is such a conundrum, but it's an ESH. Luigi fucked up.
All right, guys, we're going to wrap up on this. Shout out to our wonderful listener, Elle, who lives in Canada. We actually met up many months ago, and we actually met up at this place I like called, what is it called? Kipper.
Oh, Coffee Chris.
And she brought me well, first of all, she brought me a Funko Pop Danny, so I now have 2 Funko Pops against my will.
That's how you get them.
That's how you get them. But
oh yeah, it's really cute.
Thank you. And she also got these. We're gonna have some Nestle coffee crisps.
Crumbly.
These are crumbly and Canadian, and they might have been sitting in my house for several months.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll eat them over my laptop.
I think I can only have a bite because there's coffee in it, and I'll be up all night.
That shit does make you bonkers. That's very good.
It's like a vanilla wafer thing
with a little coffee to it.
Those vanilla wafers. I used to call them. My family would call them Nana cookies growing up because my Nana always had them in her house. And I literally thought that they were called Nana cookies. So anytime I'd see them out in the wild, I'd be like, oh my God, Nana cookies. And they'd be like, what the fuck is a Nana cookie?
This is like a...
I thought that was their name.
This is like a superior Kit Kat also.
I think so. I'm with that, Jake. Yeah. I think that's a perfect way to put it. Really nice. It's almost, and it's small. I could almost eat it for breakfast. Okay, Coffee Crisp. I'm giving it a 4 maple leaves out of 4 maple leaves. Now we're on Nestle Smarties. I feel like aren't
we have Smarties, but I've heard that these are different.
Nestle Smarties.
We have Sweet Tarts, and we used to have Smarties also. I haven't seen.
But these are chocolate.
Oh, they're chocolate.
I don't know
okay, these aren't.
You know what? I have heard Canadians talk about these, and we have Smarties too, which we were just saying are totally different. And I've heard like Canadians and Americans have like debates about it.
Okay, I'm sorry, Elle. Thank you for the candy, but Smarties are the reason why Canadians listen to American music and watch American movies. That shit is nasty.
It's not nasty. It tastes like M&M's.
It's an inferior M&M. I'm with Danny on this one.
It tastes like a fruity, disgusting, satanic. It tastes like.
Wait, which color did you have?
I don't know.
I'll have more. Are they different flavors?
I don't know because he said fruity.
I think they're just candy shells.
I'm not getting any fruit.
No, they're super sweet. I get what he's talking about. It's overly sweet for me. I think the Coffee Crisp is superior to a lot of wafer and Kit Kat style candies that I've had here in America, but it's a no for me on the Smarties.
It's not as bad. It tastes like M&M's.
No, it's not like M&M's. There's almost like a runtiness to it.
All right, let me try another one.
It's subtle.
Maybe I got the
subtle.
chocolate.
I can't stop eating them. It's subtle, but I don't know. I think that one's a botch, Canada. I'm sorry.
How many maple leaves on that one, Amy?
I'm giving that 1.5.
Ooh,
I will give it
1.5
0.5 because they're strangely addictive. So they got some kind of chemical in there.
Oh, Canada, more like no Canada.
All right,
you're welcome, everybody.
Go start that podcast. But this is cool. We love getting candy from, different countries.
Yeah, please.
Yeah.
There we go. Shannon's on board.
Yeah. Aftertaste.
And hey, look, there's nothing wrong. I'm sure if you grew up eating weird Canadian candy like Smarties, you would love it. Actually, no, the Coffee Crisp was fine.
That's a top-notch candy. I enjoyed that immensely.
All right.
All right, guys. That's the show. Thanks for listening, and we'll see you next time. Bye.
Bye.
Good luck.